Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jason Thrifts, and joining me all the way from frigid Orlando, Stephanie Canada. How the heck are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Excited. Between you and I and our guests, we got a lot of good stuff to share tonight. So I'm very, very excited. So speaking of, let's get our guest in here, shall we? Now it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and try and match it up to my guest. But before we get to the guest, I think you have at least one fan, Steph. Woohoo, Stephanie Canada. There's at least one. Yay.
Yay.
Hey, our guest this evening is Greta. Greta, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are awesome. All right, so Greta lives in Minnesota, which our last week's guest lived in Minnesota too. That seems to be an ongoing theme. So it's so easy to whip out my Norseman Minneapolis rum. So that one's pretty easy to do the rum. But I wanted to be a little bit more creative with the mug. And so although Greta lives in Minnesota now, there was a point in her life when she lived in Costa Rica. And in Costa Rica, you find a lot of toucans. So I thought I'd bust out my toucan mug.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Nice.
I love it.
So cool mug. Super duper heavy, but the hole is a little small. They should have made the hole a smidge big. It's tricky getting ice in this mug. Like it's a one at a time kind of thing. But this is made by Tiki Tony. Tiki Tony makes a lot of fabulous mugs. So if you're ever outsourcing and you run across any Tiki Tony mugs, they go for good money. So let me have a little sip here. Norseman rum. I feel like Thor. What are you drinking tonight, Steph?
Well, I need water because I chose to go sweat my ever-loving everything off today and was outside and it was 82 and bright sunny. And don't all y'all with snow come at me. I miss snow. I don't actually like it when it's this hot. So it's water for me tonight.
And so on the other end of that, Greta, where it's like negative 1,000, you got a hot chocolate there, or what are you drinking, Greta?
That would have been smart. I am drinking rose lemonade, Fentimans from England. It's really amazing. So that's my beverage.
Awesome. Well, tonight Greta's going to be talking about she purchased a building and is moving her business into it. And also, the building came with a lot of goodies that friends just said, throw it away. And Greta said, hell no, that fills a landfill. We will find homes for it. So we're going to talk about both those things tonight. So before we get to that, we got to do our segment. So Greta, sit back, relax, and enjoy your lemonade. And then Steph and I are going to jump right into it because we got tons of cool stuff to share. And now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the items that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. Boom.
All right. So this is the game of sell what you have in your house. My father, when he moved out, just decided that he didn't really want these phytoplankton things anymore. They seem to be perfectly fine. There wasn't an expiration date that I could find, so I listed them on eBay. They sat for just shy of a year, but so one day out of the blue, all three sold to one buyer for a grand total of just shy of $90 plus. And then you can see there the free shipping, but I was like, it's fine. I don't mind free shipping at this point. Thank you for buying them all at once.
Hell yeah. Gotta love a customer like that.
All right, now this thing is so cool. So I am a sucker for like when I'm going through the men's section at thrift stores to like, can I see anything that looks Japanese or anime related? And I saw on the sleeve, I saw like Goku's hair doing that thing that it does because the same print is right there that's on the sleeve. I was like, oh, that's cool. And this one sold for best offer of $75, and I believe I had into it $419, which is what my thrift stores charge for any button down.
And what? How long did it last? How long was it for sale?
Oh, 3 days.
Nice.
So
gotta like those quick flips.
Yep. I love shipping. Oh wait, I thought this was. Nope. That's.
You want this one next, or you want this one next?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, the one with the fabric.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that one. So this, y'all. Okay, number one, if you find a vintage skirt, just sell it as is, please. You'll still get pretty close to that value. 2, don't hack off the waistband like this person had done.
Oh,
so this used to be
my.
a skirt. Somebody cut the top of it off, didn't bother to unpick it, just cut it, and then it just sat there. So even with a couple of fade lines, I still got 150 plus ship.
You want to know what's funny? When I load all this stuff up, I don't pay too much attention because I want to be like kind of surprised on the air, although I do have to prep it. I thought this sold for $14.95. I missed a digit when I was loading it. I'm like, oh, that's a nice $15 thing.
I'm sure somebody would have paid me $15 happily within moments of me listing it.
Yes.
However, this one definitely sat, I think, for about 6 months, but it was well worth it when it sold.
Killer. And I love when I misread things. Oops, that's me. Get back to you.
This was actually my Where in the World.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, it is, but she also used it as your score. So it is coming up in the Where in the World.
Oh, okay.
Did you have another score?
I did, but that's okay. That's all right.
Are these from your website, I assume?
It was my that gunny sax pattern I told you about.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, this, I always say, like, never underestimate. Like, yeah, each of these patterns, I think at most was maybe $18. But you can see, like, as they're ringing up together, then, hey, look, I suddenly have an over $50 sale. 4 patterns out of my house of many more that need to go. But, hey, I'll take it. And of course, these I have all, like, maybe $1 to $3 into each.
All right, now I shared something like this last week, and this is always for the fellas. The segment could be step outside your comfort zone. I normally would not be sourcing a 2-piece Talbot's outfit, skirt and top, but I did buy some boxes from the Goodwill Blue boxes, and I bought a woman's box, and so it pushes me to get outside my comfort. And these 2 pieces were like $4, and so $36 later, yay me!
Nice.
So, it trains my eyes to find other things when I'm actually in the store. This you can buy on the website for $32, or you can buy it from me for $90. That's cool. This is called retail arbitrage. When you go buy something full price at a retail establishment, whether in person or online, and then sell it for more online, yay you. So try it. It's fun.
If they're willing to pay for it.
Yep. Because some customers don't search. All right. I got this out of a Goodwill Blue box, and I was mad. I'm like, who is going to buy someone else's Letterman jacket? It lasted less than a day.
Yeah.
$80, and it's on its way to Germany. And this is not even my Where in the World segment this week. Someone in Germany needed a Hunterdon Central High School varsity jacket.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
I paid $6 and sold for $80 like that. Now, friends told me I could have got more, but I was scared. I'm like, all right, $80, I'm good.
Yeah.
Even they paid for shipping. Yay. Goodbye. Yeah. And all right, Madonna sex book. Do you know about it? Are you familiar with it? Now, we are going to talk about this in the shipping segment because as you can see, the book has this spiral thing to the middle. Yeah. And so it's not a normal book, so to speak. And so you got to protect it. But let me show you a little bonus tip. If you ever find Madonna's sex book in good shape, it comes with this kind of comic book that sometimes has been removed. B, it comes with a CD. And C, there are a few guests in the book with Naked Madonna. And one of them's been Vanilla Ice, who's a big name. And so most people never ever mention Vanilla Ice is in the book. And he's in like 6 pages with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A very young, in shape Vanilla Ice. So, these are the things that you need to pull out of your items because your competition isn't.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Bill said, maybe I no longer need my high school jacket. Yeah, someone in Germany needs it for $80 plus shipping.
Right.
So, yeah, keep that in mind. See the things you learn on this show? It's amazing.
I love it.
And now it's time for our CD and cassette scores of the week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes. Shockingly, I had none this week. That has never happened.
Whoa.
So let's go right to... I asked my I go, did we sell any cassettes this week? She said, nope. I go, man, I can't even tell you the last time a week went by with no cassette sales. But let's talk about records. Silly boys. Would you have ever looked at this and went, that's a $40 record? No.
No, you know me.
Yeah, it came in a collection. And so that's how I ended up with it. But I was happy. I got feedback today, matter of fact. So very excited.
Great.
And this is a band that isn't really big. I think they're more of a local band, but they put out a very nice kind of marbleized purple vinyl. And I thought, someone will dig it. I spent $9 at a record store and I sold for $48.
Nice.
So even on a band that I wasn't even sure who they were, the packaging, the cover, the vinyl, it was really good. So I'm like, I'll take a flyer because they put a lot of money into their product. Someone's got to like them somewhere, or they wouldn't put all that much money into it. So
yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so it's off and running.
And now we go from flipping cassettes to flipping CDs.
All right, Steph, when I was doing the show last week, like an hour before we went live, boom, sold this Passover/Hanukkah CD for $54.
Nice.
And as you can see, I spent $2 at Savers, or I probably had a discount, so it's probably more like $1.50. But I think it was listed for about a year, 14 months or so.
Yeah.
It's one of those, there's not 1,000 customers for this old school Jewish music.
Right.
And it was 3 Jewish records now put on a double CD. And hey, someone finally, Passover is a month away. So someone said, this is what I need for this year's Passover.
Very cool.
And then right after I sold this $54 Hanukkah music, I sold this $95 Eagles Hotel California.
Whoa.
Now, it isn't a regular CD. It is a DVD audio. It's one of the things I teach in my courses. But I bought it for $1.15 at an estate sale, $95 for the Eagles.
Not something I would expect.
No, that's why I like to showcase those, because most people think, okay, Eagles, way too popular. There's no way there's any money in any of their stuff. But there is. And am I forgetting anything?
Hey, wait, hold up. Don't forget about me.
Whoops, now it's time for Stacy's Budget Bin Scores.
I got so excited I skipped 2 of my things. I'll go back in a second. Stacy, we were to the record store a couple weeks ago, and Stacy's like, I'm going to go through this whole sale section of soundtracks. And this is one of them. $3, sold in less than 3 weeks for $24.
Wow.
Budget section. She's the queen of it. All right. I got to back up. Whoops. Because I forgot to. Mad Max, the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, $50. $50 for that score. And I want you to notice, I'm going to quiz you. It says music composed and conducted by Brian May. Who is Brian May?
Oh, that sounds really familiar. Like I should know who that is.
Oh, yes. You've probably even seen a movie about his life.
I bet I have.
He would be the guitar player from...
Brian. Candy, help me. Who is it? Who is it, Candy? Tell me. Who is it? I don't know.
Greg was the first one with it. Queen. Now, this one's listed on Amazon, but again, if you're selling this on eBay, you want to pull that part out and mention Brian May of Queen.
Yeah.
Not really keyword spamming, kind of, not really. Okay. No one's going to bust your chops. And anytime I sell a Man of War CD or cassette record, I got to show it, because this is how these fools dressed all the time. Loincloths and fur. Fur boots and loincloths. So when you sell something from Man of War, you have to share it. So I paid $7, sold for $25. Still a nice little profit, but you know.
Oh my gosh. I have so many jokes, none of which are appropriate.
Yeah, you have to share Man of War.
And now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Oh, that craft lot strikes again. This is from that same craft lot where I was like, it was like right at the beginning of 2 years ago, October. So like 2019 October. I was like, I went to this house. They had all these 1960s and 70s cross stitches. I've had decent luck with cross stitches before. So I was like, great, I'm just going to grab all of them. Paid 25 cents, free shipping, after fees, I think I made a quarter.
Woo! You're living large.
Yeah.
You are living large. Oh, this is fancy.
It is fancy and it's pretty and there's really nothing wrong with it and I still have it. Normally when I pick up cropped satin jackets, they sell like hotcakes, whether or not they're vintage or not. And this one just for some reason isn't selling. And don't come at me with the fingers. It was a day. It's fine.
So if you need a hot pink bolero crop jacket, Pirate Void is where you want to shop.
Yep.
All right. I really thought this would be a winner. Someone took an orange sweatshirt and sewed on a bunch of Beanie Babies. Now, we liked it, Stacy and I, and it's been in my store for over a year. Someone finally offered me $15. I didn't charge enough for shipping, and I paid $11 for it originally. So, yeah, a loser all the way around. You made a quarter? I think I lost like 80 cents.
Oh.
When all was said and done.
Year, Jason.
I thought this was cool, but apparently only Stacy and I thought it was cool. But the person who got it left me great feedback, and they absolutely love it. So my loss is their gain, and I have a happy customer. So to me, that's a good thing. And this is not how you should flip CDs. You should not buy them for $8 and sell them for $4. That really is not how it works, but sometimes that's how it happens.
Oh, no.
And I like to be honest. I am the king at doing it, but still, some things, by the time you list them, they just aren't worth it anymore. So, yeah, half price, then figure in the Amazon fee. Yikes. That's not a good one. Don't do that. That is not how you that's not how this works. Not one bit.
And now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
Oh, hey, look, it's your items at...
Yeah, so all of those lovely patterns hopped in one envelope and shipped all the way to lovely Ottawa.
To Craig and Rick? Oh, no, they're in Toronto.
I don't know, maybe. Craig, are you fine? Thanks for being under pseudonyms again.
What kind of music was that? Oh, that was a soundtrack to a movie. So, yeah, I think it was just a score. All right, my Where in the World is... This happened during the Super Bowl. So, although I don't know this for a fact, I am convinced someone in England, in Lichfield, was watching the Super Bowl, and they thought, you know what my kid needs? He needs a vintage starter Miami Dolphins jacket from the 90s. So now it's off. So this is proof. You have no clue where your things are going to end up. But look, everyone around the world needs everything that we can find. Because I would have never thought in a million years this would be off to England. Never.
Right? Like, that's not really high on the, like, Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. And it's a kid's jacket. So you're outfitting your kid. Or they could be a small adult. You know, it happens. Yeah. But it happened right during the Super Bowl. I'm like, this cannot be a coincidence. This can't.
No.
This can't. So get your stuff listed everywhere because people need it all over the world. And to get it there, we have to ship it.
And now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. What to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I buy lots of old paper. So the number of times that I will receive a box from a buyer, usually on eBay, that is crammed within an inch of its life and no plastic whatsoever to protect it, I can count on probably every single person's hands that's in this chat. Y'all, if you are selling vintage sewing patterns, heck, if you're selling any old paper that could possibly get wet, please, for your buyer's sake, wrap it in plastic. Even if it's like basic, I'm going to pick a big trash bag, tie the trash bag in the box, and then put the box on it, that's fine. Because that will be enough to keep them protected as they're traveling along their journey. Because you never know when a buyer lives in Florida and it rains like 300 days a year.
Yep, that's a good tip because I sent this book. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're back to 1001 uses for pool noodles. So we're looking at this book. It's big, it's oversized, it's long. and it's got that spiral that I don't want that to get crushed. So I'm like, all right, go find a box bigger than the book, but shallow because I need to be deep. And we're going to cut pool noodles to fit both sides, because once you slide it into the box, as you can see, it's perfect. Now that's such a thick pool noodle, it's essentially floating in the middle of the box. So there's space beneath and space above. So we did fill that void with some scrap bubble and air pillows, but the book isn't touching anything. It just sits in the middle. So if something happened, it'd have to be catastrophic to the whole box. The box would have to get run over. That could happen. But with the pool noodles, it's keeping it in the middle, touching nothing. So it should be just fine. So always think about your pool noodles. How can I use my pool noodles? And this time it's with Madonna's Sex.
Love it.
I bet she did too.
I am sure she did.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
And now it's time for the Thrifty Tips of the Week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're outsourcing.
All right. So this probably isn't new information to anybody, but in case it is, make sure that you have a business email. And even if it's like a separate, like, contact me one, so it's not like all of your listings are coming through selling, and like real emails can get lost, because I want to say that even this week, I've already been contacted by someone who just had a box of patterns that they're like, I don't need these. I got them donated to me. Do you want them? And had I not had this separate contact, for me, it was on my YouTube page. So they actually went there and contacted me through that so that I could then know exactly where it was in which email. So I now get this really pretty box that if I would have bought it on eBay, it would have gone for a lot of money. And so instead of fighting for people, I get it hand delivered to me because I had my own little handy email for communication.
Love that. Awesome. All right. Last week I showed maybe I'm the harbinger of death. Last week I showed you should go to record stores for other things than records, and I showed a Hustler magazine, and then Larry Flint died this week. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay, same record store, but here's my tip. If you've not taken my courses and you're not big into music, what you don't know is sometimes in record stores, new, not used, new are things that went out of print that the record store didn't notice went out of print and now sells for a ton of money.
Ooh.
Case in point, the special edition 1999 Prince box set. He's already dead, so I don't have to worry about him dying. But look what I found in the last couple of weeks at record stores. Yes,
Whoa.
They're brand new for $70, but they're selling for about $190. So I will happily pay $70 to turn into $190.
Yeah.
But the record store just had it new, sitting on their shelves like any other stock. They didn't realize it sold out. They didn't change their price because they usually wouldn't. But you can buy brand new items. Here we are back to retail arbitrage. Brand new items and then sell them. So plenty of good stuff in the record store, like Prince box sets.
Very cool.
The coolest.
And now it's time for our online selling tips of the week. It doesn't matter if you're selling on Etsy, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, or eBay. These are little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling.
All right. I did it, Jason. I broke down and got the talk. I did it. I primarily blame sea shanty talk. It's between that and opera talk as to why I'm actually on that platform, because I am a #giant nerd. But so you guys, don't be afraid of these new platforms. I understand TikTok is not actually new. I'm just lame and old and refuse to be on this platform for the longest time. And my dog apparently wants to be part of this shot, so we're just going to go with it. But like all these new apps that are coming out, what's the new one that Elon Musk just like almost shut down because he mentioned it? I don't know. But there are all these new apps. So don't be afraid to try them. And especially don't be afraid to promote your business. Like I scroll through TikTok for sea shanties and opera, and I post like vintage pattern sellers of TikTok videos to show people what I'm doing. Like just fun things like that, to be like, hey, you know that factory folded pattern that I normally say don't unfold? Here you go. Watch me unfold one. So things like that.
Yeah, I almost gave up on social media as a whole the other night because someone shared with me a 22-year-old who took a shot of Malibu rum, which really isn't rum, and threw it in a Dr. Pepper. I went, oh, that's pretty good. And that got 20,000 views. I work my ass off to bring you guys these great shows that teach you that things that'll make you money, and I get like 1,000 views, which I'm happy with. But I'm like, so wait a minute, all I got to do is go and put Malibu and Dr. Pepper, and I get 20,000 views. I'm working way too hard.
The more we have to be saucy.
Way too hard. Way too hard.
Oh, and Linda got it. It's Clubhouse. That's the new one.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we talked about last week getting out of groups that the negativity just abounds. All right. And one thing I want to see a raise of hands in the chat. Have you ever been in a group where the discussion was, oh, hey, this customer offered me half of what I was asking, so I blocked them, which is the dumbest thing ever.
Why?
Because here's the two mistakes. You never want to block someone who has started a conversation and that they have money to spend. And you're not pricing your stuff high enough. I always list it high and let it fly. But I'm not realistic when I get that good offer. So I had this Nana cherry up for $40. The customer offers me 25 and I take it. Then the customer hits me up with, oh, I like this Paula Abdul CD you have for $100. Let me offer you 50. So now I've been offered $75 for 2 CDs I have $1.50 into. Now I would have loved the $100, would have loved it. And I'm the only one that has this rare promo CD single. But I'm also realistic. So I go do some research and oops, I gotta make that bigger so you guys can see it. Let's look at the median price and the highest price, $50. That's the norm.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I asked for 100, but let's look at the solds. 30, 50, 50, 30, 50, 50, 25. Okay, 50 is the high end. Now, someone with money might have come along and said, sure, I'll take it for 100, but they didn't. And guess what? I didn't block that customer. That customer allowed me to take $1.50 and turn into $75.
Yep.
But some groups you're in, they will say, oh, they offer me 50%. They're not asking enough for their products because sometimes you sell for 100. But oftentimes you get what it's worth, $50. All right. So list your stuff higher. You can't get more if you don't ask for more. And I will get off my soapbox now. Yeah, it's crazy when I see that conversation. I'm in other groups just to keep my fingertips on the pulse of what's happening. And I see that conversation weekly. Now look, as a customer for life, you're right. Oh, and they're a foreign customer. It's on its way to, I think, South America somewhere. But here's the other thing too is when you're a buyer, you should do the same thing. If someone says $100, don't just say here. If they have best offer, try it.
Yeah.
Try 50. Plus, I had that CD up for 8 months. 8 months at 100. Someone came by and said, I'll give you 50. Yay!
Right?
Yay! All right. Yes. Well, Brian sees a daily. Yeah. Don't stay in those groups for good information. I had a conversation today with somebody that said, oh, I quit selling on eBay because I read all these problems with the post office. I'm like, what? I had the best year of my life on eBay. Best year of my life. Yes, there were some hiccups. And today a customer said, hey, you know those lost Crocs that took 2 months to get to Mexico from Las Vegas? Hey, they showed up today. But the customer was cool enough to wait. And I kept checking. I hadn't checked in 2 days and they showed up. So things are being worked out. And don't worry about the people who are just, negative Nellies. The sky is not falling. It really isn't.
Yeah.
All right. Neither one of us had an out-of-season sale this week, so let's do a little housekeeping before we get our guest in.
Hello.
Hey, what is this?
That's my YouTube channel. So I do some thrifting content. I know a lot of the folks in the chat are here for like thrifting things, and I will occasionally open up boxes of patterns and you'll see me lose my biscuits on which ones are the really good ones that you should be looking out for. But a lot of the times what I'm doing is like sewing, but I also do sarcasm and random things, whatever comes into my brain occasionally. So if you feel like coming on over and hanging out with me, feel free to. you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to watch things, because it was helpful to get to the get to that 1,000, but only really subscribe if you actually want to come watch me be sarcastic every single week. And possibly this week light something on fire. Just saying, might happen.
So in case you guys don't know, it's a little tip. You see that little red bar at the bottom of this one and this one and this one? Means I watched the video. So if you're subscribed to my channel, to Steph's channel, if you're like, where am I at in these videos?
Oh, yeah, everyone.
Now, I did watch this whole video, but I went back to look at something. So that's why the red line is right there. And Steph and I talked about it. So I do watch all of Steph's videos, and I don't really give a crap about sewing patterns. But Stephanie is so entertaining. That's kind of why she's here too. That I like just having her on while I'm working. It's like she's hanging out with me. So I quite like that. And I see Tina in the chat. Who's our guest next week? Tina. Here, wait. Whoops. Hang on. I'm jumping ahead. Let me finish up with you first, and I'll jump ahead to Tina.
Okay. And it's
I got so excited. So sorry.
It's so exciting. Live shows. The other thing that I have is, as you can see, I have my own website, and I had some that sold literally the moment I posted them. So I have to go take those and archive them. But yeah, so if you're ever looking for any type of vintage sewing patterns, or if you have people that are like, I don't know what these are worth, what are people selling them for? And I will say this about eBay, solds on eBay tend to be lower per item. And also sometimes on eBay, the prices, it can either be like really high or really low. And I'm not here to judge. I'm just showing, like, if you want to see what I price things at, feel free, come on over, visit me. I've also got, like, I'm working on getting a whole crap load of, like, vintage tablecloths and stuff, which I should probably get done sometime, this century. Just an idea. But yeah, come on over, hang out with me.
Awesome sauce. Oh yeah, my little graphic is not going to work with this. Okay, so if you haven't seen the Thrifty board, we have 2 brand new junior lifeguards. Yay!
Woo-hoo!
You cannot run a group with 58,000 members without really good help. And my lifeguard team has always been amazing. And if you're new, you might be saying lifeguard team. Well, they're really called admins, but because everything is beach themed in my life, instead of admins, we have lifeguards, because sailing the seas of e-commerce can be rough sometimes. And sometimes you need to yell out for some help. And that's where the lifeguards come in. This is Matthew and Aaron. They are married and live in Texas. And they're about to celebrate their 1-year anniversary next week. Yay! So bonus. And I said, hey, do you guys have a picture of yourself on the beach? And this is what I got from them.
Oh, they sent you that?
Well, people thought I did that. I go, no.
I did. I thought you did that.
Oh, no. So they sent me that, which is just awesomely hilarious. So if you get a chance, there's a post, say aloha to Aaron and Matt. And if you ever need help, they are 2 of the admins, along with the rest of my awesome team, that can give you a hand in the thrifting board. All right, Secret Beachcombers, Flippin' Vinyl Records will be in the group on Saturday. And then we're going to schedule a cocktail party for a week or 2 down the road. So I want you all to watch it, those of you who haven't seen it yet, and then write your questions, and then we'll do a cocktail party where we'll hang out, we'll have some drinks, and we'll chat. Whatever questions, I will field all your questions in the Secret Beach. And then for this week's, slide past your expiration date, Mom wanted to do something fun, and since it's Valentine's Day, we're doing a Valentine's Day quiz with prizes.
Nice.
So no advance warning what the quiz is. Mom's got it. She's excited about it. She said, I want you to take it too. I did look at it because she sent me the blank questions. Yeah, I'm not going to win. I'll tell you right now. But then speaking of Tina's our guest next week. Tina ended up selling on eBay because someone bet her to sell. Like, I bet you couldn't sell on eBay.
What?
Yeah. I think it's our first guest where someone bet them, I bet you can't sell on eBay. And then she did. And so that's how she kind of ended up. And she was hanging out with Debbie, my producer, last week. And so they started talking. And then instead, Debbie heard the story. Debbie was like, we got to have her on. So Tina's going to be on next week. But on this week, let's get right to her. Where it is.
And now it's time for the Thrifty Business special guest of the week.
Oh, that doesn't work. Whoops, hang on. It works. It works if I do this. There we go. Hey, here I am. Hi, Greta. How the heck are you?
Wonderful.
Oh, this toucan is full of such good rum. So basically, thanks for being on, so I can bust out my toucan and my my Norse god rum. There we go.
I was happy to help.
So, Greta, you you know, we actually had another idea to have you on, and then it totally changed. Which we're going to have you on again. But it's great when you hang out with people that have like 17,000 things going on, kind of like Stephanie. You know, like we can talk about this and we can talk about that and we can talk about this. And, you know, where we actually started with you for this week, we kind of changed it because I was like, oh, yeah, I like this angle right now better. So two big things for all of us, every one of us, is our workspace. And I think we all can agree on this, is finding the forever home for our thrifted goods. Now, I was telling Stephanie right before we started, I think Greta too, I'm in the middle of sorting 3,000 Viewmaster reels. I saw a deal that I couldn't pass up, and I'm looking at the sales, and people love these things. And so now I've got the ones that are all nice groups, and these are all missing one or two. And so now I'm putting bigger groups together. So I am looking for those people who want to look at Viewmasters from the 70s.
Nice.
So let's back up a smidge before we get to what we're really talking about, and let's hear about you, Greta. So you were born in Minnesota, right?
Yep, live in Minnesota. I've done quite a bit of traveling, but I always come home, homebody.
So you grew up in the colds of Minnesota, although a lovely state. Been there, enjoyed it, and then you lived in Costa Rica,
Spain, Costa Rica, and Chile.
Okay, now, especially Costa Rica and Chile, always warm, yeah?
Chile, no, it's actually, I mean.
Wait, Chile is Chile? Oh, I'm going to go home on that one. Thank you. Goodbye.
He's done for the night, friend.
I totally missed it too, so good one.
Now, but where you lived in Chile, did it have seasons?
Not like Minnesota has seasons.
And how about
like
Spain?
Rain and warm. So.
Okay. And how about Spain?
Spain, it would get very cold, but mostly because they don't have like indoor heat here, like we do. So, and it was like a humid cold, so that sucked.
So my question is, and Stephanie can relate because Stephanie lives in Orlando right now, you wanted to go back to Minnesota?
Yeah. I like the season.
I love
seasons. I would
never go back.
Oh yeah, no, I really like seasons. I really like the cold. I hate the heat.
Yep. Agreed.
I'm Minnesotan.
Through and through. Like you left and tried other things. You're like, no, I'm going back. And what was the low tonight for you?
I don't even look. I don't even want to know.
It's negative. It's negative.
Not warm. Yeah, minus 15 probably.
So you ended up back where you grew up?
Yeah. Yep. Like exactly where I grew up.
And Greta, Steph, lives in her family's house. How many generations now?
My kids are the 5th generation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, but it is not Minneapolis. It's not the big city. You are on
no,
the country.
It's middle of nowhere, actually.
Where at nowhere?
Actually, it's the middle of everywhere because I'm here. But it's south central Minnesota.
Okay. I lived there just long enough to be dangerous about vaguely where things are.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. What'd you do there, Steph? Why were you with Minnesota?
I worked at Minnesota Opera. That's actually where I had my daughter. So she was technically born in the cold and then drug immediately to the south.
Knows no better.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never lived in a house like my family lived in. So does it just get passed down, or do you buy it from your parents or grandparents? How does that work?
Yeah, you buy it. My mom bought it from her parents. I bought it from my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some people probably give them to their kids or they die, but I bought it.
So how old is that house? So since it's been 5 generations, how old's that house?
So my great-grandparents had another house that was like next to this one. And then when my grandpa and grandma got married, they built the house I'm in. So my house is like a 50s house, 60s house, 40s, something like that.
Very cool. All right. So you live, you enjoy the old things.
I do.
So much so that you bought a building. Now, tell us the story about the building, because it's quite not, sometimes we go out and like, okay, I'm going to go buy a new car. I'm going to go buy a house. I'm going to go buy a refrigerator. That wasn't exactly how this building kind of worked.
No. So I'm obsessed with like old decrepit buildings. I have been since the beginning of time. Anything that's like decrepit and falling apart, I'm like, oh, that's pretty, I should save it. But I usually don't actually act on that. And this building is gorgeous. I've got here, I'll show you. I don't know if it's gonna work, but this is what it looked like
Hang tight.
in its heyday.
Let me make you big. There we go.
So it's like
wow.
It's gorgeous. It doesn't have the steeple thing anymore, but like the rest of it is there. And it's beautiful. And it was abandoned in my building, in my tiny town. And it had formerly been a bar. And it had been sitting empty for years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try a thing. So I reached out to the owners and was like, hey, thinking about selling it? And they're like, well, yeah, kind of. And so they gave me a number, and then they gave me the keys to go and open it up and walk through it. And I mean, it looked far worse than those pictures. And it was a bar that they literally walked away from. So it was like bar, like nasty old bottles of, not old, but like bottles of booze still open with like flies and stuff stuck in them.
Oh,
I mean, and like, fridges that had been left on and then stopped working, really gross stuff. And then the upstairs at one point had serious leaks and things like that. And I'm like, this is gorgeous. We have to buy it.
I'm with you though. I would have done the same thing.
I found love instantly. I mean, the picture here with the windows, that's the second floor. And like,
I love it.
Holy cow. Like I could just see myself sitting there looking out. It used to be an old bank, and the second floor, this room, that was the lawyer's office, like the lawyer in town.
Of course it was.
So it was amazing, right? So I just and then like to top it off, my great grandparents on my grandma's side actually met in the building. They worked at the bank together way back a million years ago, and so I was like, yeah, okay, it's mine, it's happening.
Yeah. So tell everyone what the view out this window is.
Yeah, so it's like right across the street from the post office. So
come on now.
Okay.
Come on.
Right.
That's perfect.
I'm here with my packages. Hello.
Exactly. You'll see me like 7 times a day. They're like, Greta, you need to leave. Leave us alone.
So was there ever a point in this process where you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, so like I got the purchase agreement together and like put in several contingencies so that if I freaked out and decided it wasn't going to happen, I could. But like, and there were several times where my mom and everybody's like, what are you doing? No, this is a bad idea. No, what, why? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. We're doing it. I figured that even if I didn't, use it for what I wanted to do. Well, I didn't even really know what I wanted to do with it, but yes, I did not back out, obviously.
At least he wants to know if it's haunted.
I have not spent the night there yet. Do you want to try?
I was going to ask, did you let some filmmaker film a horror movie before you start working on it?
Oh my gosh, I wanted to like reach out to photographers and see if they wanted to do like a destroy the dress type photo shoot. Like it's so super cool with its like destroyed stuff that it would be awesome for photo shoots. And you know what? There's still plenty of disgusting rooms in there. And even after I finish, there'll still be. So there's always time.
Now, please tell me there's some like creepy basement.
Oh my gosh, the basement is horrible and has like tons of stuff where you're like, dang, if this had been stored in a not humid, not disgusting basement, I could have sold this.
Yeah.
But like, the stuff down there, like I can't breathe down there. The mold is so bad. It's a horrible basement and so cool. Like one corner of the basement used to be like some sort of game room. One of my high school friends is like, hey, my dad had his bachelor party down in that room, he said. And so it's got the weirdest history ever. It's awesome.
The best bachelor parties are always thrown in the mold covered rooms. Have we learned nothing?
Years ago, it probably wasn't mold infested. I'm hoping.
Well, You're assuming a lot there.
That's true.
So a couple questions. Is this what it looks like right this second?
No, the plaster is now off those walls.
Okay.
So it pretty much, except for prettier, more like that one.
Yeah.
I can show pictures on my phone, but I don't actually know if they would show very well. I'll try.
And did you buy the whole building, which is yes, correct?
Yeah. Yep, I bought the whole
So,
building.
do you know the square footage of the entire building?
8,000 square feet.
All right.
4,000 a floor.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is, let's see.
There we go.
That's like
yeah.
the hallway.
So
it's
much
really
better.
pretty. I kind of want to leave it like this, actually.
It kind of reminds me of when Kevin Bacon is pissed in Footloose and he's going down that thing and he's like back and forth. Yeah, you could recreate part of Footloose right there.
Of course. So
See where
there's
my
so
brain
many
goes?
directions I can go.
Important question. Are you
Yeah.
keeping all the original doors?
Yes. Well, so there were so the people, when they made a bar downstairs, they took a bunch of the stuff from upstairs and like used it downstairs and making the bar look cool. So where there's stuff I can keep, I'm keeping it, and if I can't, I'm not. But yeah, like I'm all about reusing everything. I just told my electrician that he had to cut down like the old lighting hanging things because I wanted to keep those, and he's like, "You were really weird, but okay."
Yeah.
I'm reusing
Because
everything.
they're bob and tube right now doesn't mean they have to stay that way. We can
Right.
rewire.
Exactly. He told me where to go for it, so I'm set.
There you go.
Now, I got to imagine your eBay business doesn't need 8,000 square feet.
No, not even close. So the main level, it will be commercial. So I've got one commercial tenant in there, and we'll hopefully put another piece out for commercial rent here in the next couple of months after the upstairs space gets rented out. And I'm only doing a small portion of the upstairs because, money, and doing things costs money. So I'm just doing a small piece of it. And then as I grow, I can grow into the spaces.
Nice.
Now, how many commercial spaces will be downstairs?
There's room for 3.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're okay telling us what the first one is?
I think
you don't have to if you don't want to.
it's
You do not have to if you don't want to.
We're just nosy.
it's a really good tenant.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. By the way, if you're ever a guest, you don't ever have to answer any question you don't want to. Sometimes I'm just we don't do like the nighttime talk shows where we have a pre-interview. Like, we just kind of talk and we go where our brain.
You gotta ask. I 100% exactly.
So I like the idea that you got to clean out that basement for a speakeasy. You need a bar.
Oh yeah.
That'll be like phase 25. But yeah, that'd be sweet.
A couple people asked, do you know how old the building is?
Well over 100. I think the sign like on the very top of the building says like 1901, and I'm pretty sure that like the whole second floor was put on after the first floor. So I don't know off the top of my head, but it's really old.
I see a big sign, Steph. Greta's Emporium of Awesomeness on top of the building.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So the other thing is, so I'm assuming your eBay business was in your house. And now that you got this, you're like, all right, I'm going to get this out of the house.
Yeah. Well, so honestly, when I bought the building, I was just selling on Poshmark, and it was the purchase of the building and all the crap that I got with it that catapulted me into eBay. So it's because of the business or because of eBay because the building that I'm on eBay.
I mean, hey, if you get handed a lap full of crap, you got to sell it somewhere. eBay for your lap full of crap.
Minnesota, come for the culture, stay because your car won't start.
Car won't start. Oh, that's too true.
All right. The other part of this, though, is when you acquired said building, it was full of stuff.
Yeah.
And so your friends were like, hey, just get a dumpster and get rid of it. And you're like, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's such a horrible mentality that like you can just throw it out and you don't see it anymore. No, it's so bad for the environment, and it's got life and it's beautiful and people can use it. So I just was like, no, stop there. we're not hiring a bunch of high school boys to throw it in a dumpster. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I can do this.
Good for you.
So I actually hired an auction company for the big things because there's no way I wanted to deal with getting rid of booths and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So had an auction, do an online auction, got rid of all the big things fast, and then everything else I've just kind of slowly been selling on my time, which is awesome. I've got plenty of room in there to store it. So
there you go.
All right. So
post office comes across the street.
That's right.
So do they know you on a first name basis yet? Or are you not set up just yet?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a small town. Like,
it's like Storm walking in tears. Greta!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 100% like that.
So using an auction house, that's something we've never really talked about to move, you acquired a bunch of stuff. And like you said,
right.
I don't want to deal with the big stuff. So what kind of cut do they take?
It's pretty bad. They took $2,000 for marketing, and then they actually charge a premium to the buyer that I never even see. So there's like an 18% premium, and most auction companies are right in there where it's a premium on top of whatever. Like if a customer agrees to pay $1 for an item, they're actually paying $1.18 off the top, and the 18 goes to the auction company, and I don't ever even see that number. And then they kind of tier it out based on things for what they take from my side. They actually screwed up and had just started a new internet bidding system when they did my auction, and I chewed them out heavily because it broke mid live end of the auction. And so I got all of my money minus the $2,000 fee. But I think normally they would have taken like 30 or 40%.
Wow.
And you lay the hammer down on them?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. I mean, I was actually more distraught for like the customer, the buyer's point of view. Like there were a couple of people that were like sitting outside my building, and they came in and they're like, we can't get this to work, and I really wanted this thing and I can't. And I'm like, I know, it's driving me bananas. So
it's the feeling. The last time I had some mugs go live, I was trying a new way to sell them on Facebook, and it didn't work in the instant. And then you get 1,000 messages. You're like, I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah.
You don't think I want to sell these things? I invested my money. I got to sell them. But yes, I know it's not working. Stop messaging me.
Yeah. I felt really bad for the buyers. So, and then everybody that came to get their stuff were like, I would have gone higher. I really wanted this and this, but you just broke on me. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that a couple of times today.
Well, let's talk about the rum that was left over. Was there any?
There probably was, but you would not have even wanted to get near it. I mean, like, I'm not kidding when I'm talking about like bugs in there. They just left it open. It's like they literally disappeared in the middle of the night kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. It's so weird.
So when the Riviera closed in Vegas, the casino, they had, I've been to many liquidation sales of old casinos, and the Riviera, although we knew it was closing, it's like the employees didn't. So I was there the first weekend, and there was like a half-eaten piece of cake in the break room with a fork still in it. It's like the apocalypse came, and people just disintegrated. Clothes were still in lockers with locks on them. I'm like, y'all didn't know that you were closing? It was so we found like, those sandwiches you get off a vending machine, there's like, they're cut on the angle. Yeah. In their locker. So now it's months later and they're all fuzzy. And I'm like, don't you know you were leaving? And like people left her like iPhone plugs behind and stuff. And I'm like, so weird. So Elise, Linda wants to know if the building actually had a real name other than Greta's Emporium of Awesomeness.
I don't know that it did. I mean, it was a bank. It was literally the bank. I don't know. I mean, there were like several banks in town, so I don't know that it was even like the bank. But yeah, I don't know if it ever had a real name. I should ask my grandma. It's a good question.
That'd be cool to find out.
Your grandma's still alive. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How old's your grandma?
She is 95, 96.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
When I met Stacy and when we got married, she still had all 4 grandparents.
Oh,
and so her sister had a kid, and so her kid had 4 great grandparents, which was just like, yeah, Stacy's grandparents all died in their like mid to late 90s. So I married good stock. So Stacy will live a long, long life. So yay me. So Kathy wants to know, what's the population like? Are you rural?
It's definitely rural. It's about 2,500.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So definitely the post office already knew who you were. They're just now going to check on a deeper level.
And yes, it has a very cool vault. There's like it's like a 2-story vault, and like the basement room that I talked about, you can get like that's sort of like the creepy vault that I've been in once because I don't want to get stuck down there.
I didn't know Stacey was watching.
And then there's a really cool vault on like the main level that like it's got 2 doors, and one's like got this really nice painted picture on the one side of it. It's beautiful.
See, that's where the speakeasy needs to be, in the vault.
Yeah. Walk through.
It wouldn't be big enough. You'd get like one person, but I think at one point a dentist like pulled teeth in there. It was like the dentist's chair inside the vault, which sounds
it's getting creepier. Here's where the torture porn happened. My mom wants to know if you've checked checked at the courthouse to see if the building is registered.
Like to
I don't know.
It's not National Historical Registry, if that's what she means.
And then Susan said, was it plaster and horsehair?
No, it's just plaster.
That's a thing? Houses what? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I didn't pull it off, so maybe there was horsehair in it, but I don't think it. No, I didn't see it.
You would have seen it in the plaster itself.
There wasn't.
Rich and Nala said you need to get as much information from grandma and write it down to record her telling the stories.
Yeah. And we've got, like, my mom wrote a book about, like, some of the really cool people in town back a century and a half ago. And so there are some stories already written down about those people and some of them. Like, my great grandpa had an office in the upstairs of the building, one of the rooms that I'm going to actually have now later on in his life. It was an insurance company. And so there are some of those stories, but yeah, anytime anybody tells me anything about this building, I'm like, tell me more.
Now I'm weird. I would like pick each room and like on the door put like the lawyer's office.
Yeah, I have names for them.
Totally. Because I'm just like, you just should like just name the rooms. Even if you don't get like the building a proper name, like each room that you rent out for whatever space, like, oh, you're renting the lawyer's office.
Exactly.
And then make one room so nutty of a name that people just go, the spandex room. What?
Well, if I ever end up selling a lot of spandex, I will
All right, now, I don't expect everyone to go out and buy a building. But if your business has taken over your house and you have a family and a spouse and kids and dogs and cats and birds and whatever, and you are ramping up your business to make it bigger and bigger. All right. So this is what my wife and I did. So we were looking at renting me a space, a warehouse space or a warehouse / retail space. And by luck to us, unfortunate luck for the old lady that lived here, she entered hospice and her adult kids wanted the house gone quick and didn't want to do anything. So most people who were looking at the house, they were wanting to live there. And of course, they're like, we need this fixed, that fixed. I'm like, does it leak? Okay, cool. I'll buy it because it's 4 houses away from where we live. And so and after the initial down payment, the mortgage is the same as the rent was going to be at a space that at the end of that space, there's nothing. It's just a lot of canceled rent checks. With this at the end of it, I'm either going to have a house with equity to sell and make money or a house to rent and make money for longer time. Yep. And so it was a sound business investment because A, my wife's like, yes, the business is out of the house. I won't kill him anymore. And B, we will have equity and it'll make us money in the long run. But we turned a regular house into a full-on office. So here's the guest bedroom. It is a full-on photo studio. What you see to the right is the light, and that was the closet. We removed the closet doors, and that's where the mannequins go. And that's where we take photos. And to the left is a little photo cube. This is what would be called the living room. However, it is our shipping and receiving table. Yay!
Nice.
And because the ceiling goes like this, we can have a peanut dispenser. Yes. So these are things that you can do. If you're growing that much and you think, maybe not a full building, maybe a house, or maybe a room. So this is Steph's new endeavor. So tell us about this, Steph.
Well, so when we originally moved into this house, my dad was with us, and then he moved out, and then we had a roommate that had moved in after him. And when said roommate moved out, I was like, I would like to not have to do the dance of lug the lights upstairs, lug the lights downstairs. Hey, let's go put the mannequin out in front of the house, in front of the door, and take the amazing front door shots, which I'm sure Jason just loves. Anytime he shows off one of my listings, he's like, is that a door? Yes, that's my front door. Yes. But so now this whole room, which is actually a second master, will now be a YouTube / eBay reselling studio. So I'm going to get that whole closet to be like, here's all the stuff that's listed that needs to be hung up. And I've already painted the walls a better color other than this god-awful Florida tan that everyone loves that I despise. So that wall there on the left-hand side is now a lovely, like, vaguely charcoalish light blue. And then all the rest of the rooms are white to reflect light so that all of my lighting looks better. And, you use what you have. And we had this room and I was just like, you know what? It's time to just do it. Let's commit fully to the YouTube studio. This is what I'm doing for the foreseeable future. So, hey, why not?
So, room, house, building, it can be done. So you got to, not everyone's going to take their business to the places that the three of us have. But if you do, think about it. Think about, how do I maximize space? How do I maximize return? That kind of thing. So Greta went, I thought I went big. Greta just crushed me. She's like, ha, 8,000 square feet.
8,000 square feet. I'm pretty sure she crushed all of us in one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, many times over. She's
like, I see your 10 by 20 room. I rate you an entire building.
All right.
Go home.
So that was a cassette. Look at that. See, I didn't sell any cassettes. I just sold the cassettes, and it's going to Australia.
Nice.
$15 for a used cassette to Australia. See how the universe works? It heard me say, I sold no cassettes this week. All right. So, Greta, what's the next, what's the immediately next thing that's going to happen in that building? Your space getting done. The next commercial space is getting done. What's next?
My space getting done. So the next step is to have the sheetrockers there to get me some sheetrock. So yeah, it's in process as we speak, basically.
Nice. And you already had them, I'm assuming, go through and already do all the usual, get the knob and tube ripped out. Hey, check out the
there wasn't any electricity or anything upstairs. That's why I'm not camped out up there, because there's no electricity. So yeah, it was literally this big blank dirty canvas.
Nice.
For me to start with up there.
Very cool.
What did I miss in the chat? Jason did Lisa Boland. What? What? I look away for 2 seconds to accept an offer. What happened in the chat?
I don't know. I see someone sold something, but
Elisa said sheetrockers, great 80s hair band. Okay, so we're talking about all this, and then let's throw this up there. Pickle's travel blog. Now, I so wished I had a pickle tiki mug, but there isn't one.
Yeah, I would have been impressed if you could have done that.
So, like us, Stephanie, it's not just we're a seller and we're YouTube. We do 1,000 things. Greta is no different. So she's also a travel blogger. Tell us about that, Greta.
Well, COVID hit and I don't do it. I haven't traveled really this year, but with as many places as I've been, and I love to travel. And it originally started as a around the world travel blog. And then I was like, you know what? Minnesota's awesome. There's no one talking about it. So it's really concentrated now on Minnesota and the Midwest. Just because there's a lot. There's a lot in everybody's backyard to see and do, and no one ever thinks of what's out there their door. They're like, we should travel 7,000 miles to see what's over there.
Yeah.
There's plenty right here.
Yep. Grass
That's
is always
awesome.
greener.
Yeah.
So check out Pickles Travel Blog on Facebook, and she has a website too.
Nice.
Picklestravel.com. Absolutely
Starting
love
off with a Bloody Mary recipe.
Yeah.
Love that.
So pickles are my favorite food. So pickles just had to like shine basically.
Nice. Well, then you would enjoy one of my opera singers friend whose last name is honestly Pickle.
Nice.
All right. So before we get to your duds and scores, let's talk about Mr. Teeth here.
Love it.
Or Dr. Teeth, excuse me, Dr. Teeth, Mr. Teeth.
So you wanted to know like one of the coolest things I'd sold, and I mean I've sold a lot of cool things like vintage Pyrex and things like this, but this is probably the most like out of my wheelhouse. I don't know the Muppets like my friends do and things like that. So I knew it was cool when I found it on. I know. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm sorry. I've actually found it in a garbage pile of someone's trash, and it had some scratches, and it like the nose actually had like some crazing and cracks and things like that. Yeah. So it was the first time I used pool noodles when I sold it. So thank you for that, everybody. And
Yay.
it was I guess the first thing that was a challenge for me to figure out how to both sell, list, and then ship, so.
That is awesome. And I'm a big fan of Dr. Teeth. All right. So the customer just paid for the cassette. So that customer paid $34 for a used cassette to get to him in Australia.
Wow.
If you're not flipping cassettes yet. All right. Let's talk about your duds because I want to enhance one of your duds. Oh, hello.
Nice. Yes. That is one of them.
I just had to. She's sitting over there. She just got cleaned. All right.
So was this from the building?
Yes. Yep.
Ooh.
It was from the building. It was, one of those things they told me to just throw out. It was warped. I mean, everything about it says like, why would you even try? And I tried because someone's going to want it. It's got Coca-Cola on it. It's cool. I went to Canada. So someone in Canada bought it.
Very nice. You never know. Somebody like, there are other people that are weird like us that are like, yeah, sure. It's fine.
Right. Exactly.
Oh,
good feedback.
Someone said, what was the cassette? So I'll have to show you because you won't believe me. The band is called Prick. Hold on.
What?
Yes. Hold on.
Where do you find these people, Jason?
90s alt rock. Trent Reznor produced. So there you go. That's why I had to show it because people are like, oh, sure, it's called Prick. Yeah, sure. All right. So tell us about why Castle Grayskull was a dud.
So it wasn't a dud in that it sold well. The dud was on me in that it was like 19 inches, which is 1 inch too big for doing the package. And so for doing pirate ship, they paid $30 in shipping and I paid $50. So I still made money on it. It was actually my husband's from his childhood, so it was free in that sense. But I was a learning lesson that I made a mistake on. So that's what the dud of it was.
Okay, so a little bonus. I don't know if anyone's paying attention. Look at the 3 tiki mugs behind me tonight.
Oh my gosh!
It's
awesome.
Castle Grayskull.
That is cool.
Now it's not mine. A buddy of mine who lives in Canada, no relation to Stephanie, ordered it. I ship it to him, and so it's so weird. This just came in this week, and then you want to talk about Castle Grayskull. I'm like, ooh, I got the Castle Grayskull tiki mug collection going right there.
Love it.
Yeah. All right, let's end up with your scores, and please let me know if any of these came from the building.
I will. This came. My dad's cleaning out my grandparents' stuff, and. Wow. He gave it to me. It was super cool. It was like the mug, and then the soap bar was still in there, completely pristine, never used whatsoever. So it actually had that same imprint on the soap itself. It was gorgeous. Cool. So it sold in like 12 hours.
That's amazing. Did you sell it with you sold it with?
I sold everything. Yep.
That's awesome.
Hey, Chris, send me a message. I don't know because I didn't care about them. but I'll let you know where you can find them if they are still available. Now, I want to know what this was an inspector of.
So my grandma was a Rosie the Riveter. This is also a thing from my dad's, or going through his stuff. And so this was a Rosie the Riveter inspector jacket. Super cool. She was poor, so after she ended up using it, then she used it as her paint jacket, so she brought it home with her after Rosie, and there's cuts and tears in it that have been restitched all over, and there's paint, and so it had so much character and charm. And I put the story about that in the description because, like Jason said, what's this an inspector of? It doesn't really mean anything to anybody, and there's no way to prove it other than to just say, here's the story behind it. So
wow, that's amazing.
And that's what sold it, is the story behind it. Someone was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is what I want. So
did you watch my face as you were telling the story? Because I'm just like, that's amazing.
It was so beautiful. I wanted to keep it so bad, but I have so much crap, and what am I going to do with it? Honestly? Let's get it to someone who's going to love it and cherish it the way it needs to be loved.
Yep.
Steph, did you happen to see Greta's store review in the Secret Beach?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so each Monday in the Secret Beach, I go over one of the members' stores, and we go through them and talk about what they did good and what they can improve on. And the thing that struck me is, why is this damn outlet so high on the wall?
Just to bother people, I think.
Oh my God, what? I've never owned a house where an outlet was that high on the wall.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then the nuttiest thing you've ever seen,
why is it by the
outlet 4 feet up?
See, this is why I had to buy a building. I have to get rid of the outlet.
Honey, I just had to buy the building to make my photos better. Jason said so.
Exactly.
I'll be your excuse. I couldn't stop talking about it because who has a house with an outlet at the 4 foot height? It just doesn't exist, except for Greta's house.
Me, right here.
No, it is not the kitchen. It is not the kitchen.
No, it's upstairs in the living. It was, back in the day when they had TVs that were 4,000 pounds. It was for one of those that sat on a shelf in the shelving thing.
That's still strange that they put the plug up there for that purpose. I don't remember having a plug that high, and I definitely remember having those televisions.
But it's like now, if you think about it, everybody's got their flat screen TV over their fireplace way up high in the wall. 10, 20, 30 years from now, people are going to be like, WTF is this?
Why do they put Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Same thing.
All right, so Debbie would be very excited to see you sell a set of books. That's for sure.
No, so this, I have several of these little books, but it was actually her video that reminded me that these are valuable, and I got these on Poshmark and flipped them. So I got them for $17 and then sold them for $55.
I love the flip from platform to platform. All right, and we'll end on this one.
And that was somebody getting rid of stuff on Craigslist, and they actually were getting rid of salt, for sidewalks when it snows and whatnot. You got to put them on your sidewalk so you don't fall on your butt. And I was like, free salt, sweet, I'll use that at my building. And then he was getting rid of a couple other things. And I'm like, hey, you want to get rid of anything else? And he's like, well, I do have these things. So he threw them in, and I've got 5 of them. So I've been selling them slowly.
Nice.
Yeah, there's something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Me neither. They're cool.
Now,
and they still wind up and play?
Yeah. I've got a couple that don't currently work. They're wound too tight that obviously I'm not selling. I've got to figure it out first, but
it's very cool.
Now, Lori does like your plug that high, so you have to bend over to plug in your vacuum. So there are good reasons for it, but it's not common. That's why it struck me as odd. All right, so what? Whoops! It's all Stephanie now. Didn't mean to do it that way. What? So when do you have a thought when you're going to be in the building with your operations? And I get it. inspectors, things happen, like, you know.
Goals would be like end of March.
Okay.
I've already had like, like getting a hold of sheetrockers and times, like things have just already been pushed off. So I've stopped like having real goals on terms of it getting done on time, because then I'll just be upset. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping by the end of March, but I'm just chillaxing on it. 2025, something like that.
So apparently WD-40 will unstick some music boxes. So
I will say
proceed at your own caution, but I like that tip.
They
That's
were
awesome.
free. It won't hurt.
I would say you got them for free, so
Exactly. I like it.
Awesome. Well, Greta, thanks for coming on. I want everyone, think about it. Think about this coming year, the next year. Are you going to expand your business? Do you need more room? Yes, you can rent a space, but if you can invest in something, doesn't have to be a building, doesn't even have to be a house, could be a shed. But if you invest in something that will then in the long term make you money either once or over and over, it's not a bad way to go. It's not a bad way to go. The business pays rent, which is the mortgage. So it all works out very, very nicely. And Greta's in the same position, but even bigger. Even bigger. Now, Steph's going to rent out her room for small parties. And she'll make a little money too. Little mini parties.
You realize I live in Orlando, right? Like, that's a terrible plan.
Yes, have her back when it's done. I think that project will never be done, but yes, we'll definitely touch base because, like I said, we had other things we were going to talk to Greta about, and we're like, no, I like this angle. We'll have Greta back for sure because there's other cool stuff. Greta is like her building, the woman of many stories. Many all right, Steph, when's your next video going to be up on your channel?
Sometime tomorrow when I actually finish editing it.
And Greta, are you taking any video of the progress or, pictures along the way, all the way?
Definitely pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely pictures. So
Nice.
I can post them. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, check out Pickles. What is it? Pickles
Travel.
Pickles Travel. And yes, please smash that like button. The like button is right down here if you've not seen it before. If you're new to the channel, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell. The bell lets you know when I add new stuff. Go to Steph, give her a subscription too. And Mom and I'll be back. We're doing a Valentine's Day quiz that I'm going to fail miserably at. But it should be fun. And Mom said she's got some prizes to give away. So tune in with us on Sunday. Back to our normal time since football is over. 7 o'clock East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. And with that, I say thank you, Greta. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you, everyone who tuned in to watch Greta and Stephanie and me. So have a good evening, everybody.
Bye.
And for my outro, stay cool. Ha ha ha.